welcome back. I got speakers playing something in the background here. Let's see if I can turn that off. Playing our music in the background here. Awesome. All right, you still with me?
I'm with you.
A crazy day. Welcome back to episode 341 of the God and Gods podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about God, guns, and the responsible Christian gun owners' interest. In this week's show, we're talking about how we are believers are called to act in these times of lawlessness, corruption, and tyranny.
Hmm.
And I will have to admit, today has been one crazy day, and I am scatterbrained as always. Good evening, Jim. All you guys that are out
Evening,
there,
Jim.
comment, like, thumbs up, share, please. I think Jim shared a show earlier. We appreciate that because we are banned, shadow banned, and I am still being banned. I think I'm on like 26 days or 30 days where they've suppressed all my stuff because that's what communists do: suppress your free speech. We want to thank our bandwidth sponsors, Primary Arms. Primary Arms seeks to give you everything you need for sporting goods, hunting, fishing, all kinds of cool tactical gear. They have sent me a set of night vision Glock sights to try out. Although
Really?
we already know about night vision because of our buddy Paul Markle.
We do.
Uh, he's got his own set of Stu the Gun type night vision sights, but I have lots of Glocks and I can put them on. And so they came in sometime this week, and it's been, again, crazy week. So that, of course, has to happen. But they are cool sights. And if you need you some night vision sights, go over and check out primaryarms.com. And if you have the opportunity, please let them know. There's a link in our show notes that they know that you came from our place. So if you see our show notes on Firearms Radio Network or on our website or anywhere you might find it, you can click on that and it will let them know that you came through our link. We really appreciate their support, and they are very gracious and kind. Send us lots of cool things to test and evaluate, and I'm just going to send them on down to Doug because my life is really busy. So,
Bring them on. Bring them on.
Firearms Radio Network also takes care of hosting all of our shows going back to 2013. So if you want to go back and listen to what me and Doug were talking about in 2013, or even going all the way back to the original two guys, Zach and Mike, you can find those shows on Firearms Radio Network. I think iTunes don't even go back that far. I think they start cutting them off at a certain period. But go over and check out other shows at Farms Radio Network. They are struggling to make good content over there for you guys to listen to and watch and check out. Patriot Patch, we want to thank Patriot Patch for supporting us every month. They are like clockwork. Their support comes in, and they have the coolest patches and stickers and all kinds of accoutrement and gun rugs and cool shirts and cool meme patches and retro patches. They have everything. Go over to the patriotpatch.co and give them some love and tell them that you appreciate them supporting God and Guns. All that out of the way now. This week's God and Gun activities, Doug. Well, it's actually been like 2 or 3 weeks now. It's been a long time. I have been out of the. I've been in the fire, but you've built a garage and all kinds of cool stuff, and
I did.
we've had all kinds of stuff happening here. We'll catch up with all that here in a minute, but I'll let you go ahead and tell us what you've been doing since we last spoke.
Let's see. On the God side, Sportsman's Daily Devotional. I've been doing that, and I did catch, not this past Sunday, but Sunday before, one of our local churches. I got to catch them online Sunday morning, so that was cool. Let's see. On the gun side, of course, everyday carry. Been doing that. I picked up a new 12 round mag for my
Ooh.
for my little Sig P365. So got it loaded up with some Hornady Critical Duty that I had picked up down in Florida a couple weeks ago from my buddies down at uh, Gun City USA. So, or Gun Depot USA, sorry. And So they had some, so I got it all loaded up in there. I'm ready to go for that. Let's see what else. Like I said, hey, I got my shop done. Um, let's see. Last week was it last week? I can't remember if it was last week or the week before. Last week, I guess. We got my shop wired. My buddy Rick was down. What's up, Rick? He is on watching live, and my my buddy Luke came over, and he is an electrician. So I bought all the materials and stuff, and he's a younger guy than me and Rick. So it was like a sweat box in that thing, man. When we was trying to do the wiring, we got up in the attic and we got all the wires ran, got outlets, I got power, I got lights now. It's a shop. It's a shop now, so I can actually use it.
Cool.
Let's see what else I got going. I've been getting my boat ready. We're going down the end of the month. Three of my buddies, they went in on an alligator permit draw. I went in on an alligator permit draw as well. They got picked. I did not get one this year, but that doesn't stop you from hunting and helping them.
Drag it in
So
the boat.
what's that?
Drag them in the boat.
That's it. That's it. We're going to use my boat. So I've been getting the boat ready, and we're going down to Lake Seminole, where we got drawn at. And we got 3 nights, and we got to kill 3 gators. So I think we can do it. Hey, I've guided duck hunts, hog hunts. I never got an alligator hunt yet. So this should be new, and we'll see. Oh, so one of my buddies is going. He asked me. He said, "What'd you kill your gator with when you killed it? The last one you got?" I said, "We got upside the boat, and I just shot it with a Glock in the back of the head." And I showed him the video. And I said, "What'd you kill yours with?" Because he got drawn when I did 5 years ago. He goes, "Oh man, the guy had a bang stick." He said, "We just popped him with that." I said, "Well, we got a pistol. We don't need one." Well, he wanted to get a. He said, "I don't want to get that close to it, honestly." I was like, "Okay." So sitting over in my corner, I have a 6 foot long 44 mag bang stick.
Cool.
I can't wait to have some fun with that. I started to test it out and put a watermelon on a table or something and pop it, but I didn't feel like getting watermelon juice all out of the end of the little barrel on the thing. So I said, we'll test it down there. If it don't go off, then we'll shoot him with a Glock. Be done with it. Let's see. Also, hey, I got my digital uh set back up. I couldn't figure out why my digital side wasn't working on my little hotspot for the ham radio.
Hmm.
I got thinking about it that I got fiber a few weeks back, and they put a new router in the house when they did it. So I got a new IP address, so I had to change everything. So I got it in, and I actually talked to you a little bit on it the other day,
Yep.
messing around. And but I did my first test on it on my first test call, and lo and behold, I get a guy from the Netherlands answers me back, and so we talked for a little while. So
It's fun. And
it is pretty cool. Um, I was on Echo Link today talking to trying to talk to a guy in Australia, and I went through a bunch of their repeaters, but I don't know if they don't talk down under or what.
they're on a different time.
Yeah, yeah, I think it was like 11 o'clock when I was trying to talk to them at night. So I figured, somebody might be on, but they wasn't. And I may be finally getting a radio for my truck. So
Yeah, I gotta put that in the mail to you.
we shall. It's been a long time coming, but we shall see.
Good deal.
See if I can get it hooked up.
I'm working in the background here, so don't pay no attention to me. Has that got most of your stuff?
That's my stuff, man. What you been up to?
I have been. Oh, let me scroll back to my notes. I've only got 3 monitors and 7 windows. I'm trying to work.
Yeah.
Let's see. Where am I at? Okay, I'm down there. Daily Bible reading. I went to South Fork's prayer group last night. So that's why sometimes on Thursday nights we don't have our show because the first Thursday night of the month is a South Fork's men's prayer group, which I really enjoy, and we had a little bit of a devotional and discussion of Bible verses and things like that, which was awesome. And then we had, of course, prayer for our country, prayer for our missionaries. We got some missionaries overseas right now. I just got another mission team back in from South Fork. I've been attending South Fork the last, probably 2 months now, going on closer to 3 months. We're becoming pretty regulars. We haven't moved the membership back yet. Everybody's not quite on board yet, but we're getting closer every day. Um, let's see. The Sunday before that, we went to South Fork, and the Sunday before that, we went. Yeah, we've been going to South Fork last 3 Sundays that we have missed shows here. This Sunday, we went to service and left right after the sermon. Had the 83rd Terry Hodge reunion, which is my mother's father's family and his mother's family. The Hodge is was my grandfather on my mom's side's mother, and Terry was her dad's side of the family. Um, and so all of the original, I think it was 10 brothers and sisters have now passed away. I think the last one passed away a couple of years ago, 2 or 3 years ago. And my grandmother was the last surviving spouse of that generation, as far as I'm aware of. I may be wrong. Somebody might call me out here on that. So the cousins above that were my mom's family, and of course, mom and dad both passed away in the last year, and several others of that group have passed on here recently. So we're getting ready to come up on be the elders of the group, at least in my lineage. My uncle Sam is still left of their family, and everybody else has passed on. And on my dad's side, everyone's passed on. Uh, got a few cousins, and that's about it. So we're getting close to the top. That's a weird feeling uh, when everybody has passed on. It was a cool picture you sent me, and that was posted up, I guess, on South Fork's page.
It
South
was.
Fork's 240th anniversary is coming up. South Fork Church was the third oldest church west of the Appalachian Mountains, established in 1787, something like that. Thinking 1780,
I can't say
uh,
that fast on the fly.
1780. I have to go back and look. It's 240 years old, so you can do the math because I can't really. But my great grandfather, I think 6 generations back, the Walters, it was on my father's side of the family. My father's mother was a Walters, and he received the farm that we now have our house on here was part of a land grant from, I believe, Thomas Jefferson in the 1812. He was a soldier in the battle of the War of 1812, and was injured and did quite a bit of cool stuff and is pretty well known in the history books. And then when he came here, he joined South Fork Church. He was one of the first first of the members of the church, and he used to stand guard while they were having baptisms and stuff because the Indians would raid and attack them while they were having baptisms in the creek. The South Fork Creek is what it's named after. And so they used to meet under a tree, and the creek was down below this tree where they met under, where the actual cemetery is now, is where the original meeting of the church was. So it's pretty neat. We're going to have a reunion this Sunday. We're going to have Bob Simpkins. You remember Pastor Bob Simpkins?
He actually he messaged me the other day. I want to know if we were going to be able to come up for it.
Yeah, it would be great if you could come up. It's a little bit tough with all the travel and stuff, but then there's another gentleman that was before him. I can't remember his name, and then a few other pastors have put their stuff in. But y'all didn't want to hear about all my church history stuff, but it's pretty cool. I remember being at the 200th anniversary. I was a young man back then.
We, we
We were
both were.
both young, yeah. And the 225th one, I remember that, participated in that one. But 240 years now, that is a pretty good long haul for a church, and still seems to be going fairly well. I mean, we're paying the bills, and a lot of the pews are full, so that's a good deal. But that's pretty much my God stuff. EDC on the gun side, I did bid. My wife sent me a link about a gun auction. Well, it was a estate auction. The guy had like 60 guns and I don't know, thousands and thousands of rounds of ammunition and magazines and all kinds of stuff. And I saw a little CZ 513 bolt action 22. I really loved that little CZ I used to have. And I just threw a bid out there. It was pretty low and I ended up getting it. I was like, whoa. Because I bid like 4 or 5 hours for the end of the thing. And so it was a pretty good deal. And so I got to go pick that up next week
Nice.
down Bowling Green. And then I pulled the plug on some night vision. Uh,
Oh,
got me a PVS 14. So
I'm jealous.
yeah, I've been wanting one for a long time, and I hadn't bought any guns or anything except for that one. I just won the auction. Probably last thing I bought was the pistol back last spring, back in the spring sometime or winter. Um, but so I had a little bit of money I had been putting them for purchases back and picked that up. We'll see how that goes. It was highly rated and had all the gizmos and doodads, and so had to
Did
get
you get it in white phosphorus?
yeah. Ended up finding a white. Trouble was finding them in stock. I searched like I don't know, like 12 different websites, and finally found on Optics Planet they had one actually in stock. It was the last one they had that. Oh no, it wasn't the last one they had that one. It was one of the few they had. I got a hand picked one, so they go through, they turn it on, see how many, because there's depending on the tube, you could have all kinds of anomalies and stuff in it. So they have to go in there and look and see, try to pick out one that doesn't have a bunch of anomalies in it. So it is the clearest one they can find out the batch. So hopefully it'll be a nice one. We'll see what shows up. Um,
If Primary Arms would like to send me one,
yeah, it'd be nice.
I can hook them up with my address after if
Do
they
they
need
have
me.
night vision? Because I looked, I didn't see anything.
I don't know.
I,
They
I,
got everything else they should have.
yeah, I didn't see anything in stock. I mean, but let's see. I went to Ham on Ham side. I went to Hamquest down in Lebanon, Tennessee. It was pretty disappointing. It wasn't much there. I mean, the
Really?
people that had stuff there was like not really good quality. It was like old, decrepit stuff and yard sale type stuff. A lot of it. I did actually find a FTM 3200, which is a the Yaesu FTM 3200 was like the predecessor to the FTM 100. It is digital in the fact that it will do Wires X fusion. Uh, and it's a 65 watt 2 meter only. I was wrong. It wasn't that 2 meter 440. I mistyped that in my notes. And so I might just put that on my tractor. I was in my tractor the other day working all well, 4 or 5 hours, and I was like, man, all I had was HT in there, and I could hear them, but it wasn't getting out very good inside that metal frame cab. So uh,
Mm-hmm.
I might put me that one that since you don't want it, and I got such a good deal. Uh, I got it really, really cheap. It's new in the box. I mean, never had been used. All the stuff, paperwork, everything in there. Guy bought it, never used it. Brought it to Hamfest, and my friend Roger happened to see it, who we went down with me, and K8 RPG and rocket propelled grenade, and he spotted it and got him down the price, and I came over there and I went and popped on it because if you don't pop on those things when you find them, you don't get them. Because somebody else will say, "Hey, you see you have interest in something, run over there and say, hey, I'll take that," and then you don't have it. On the farm side, we had on my truck rig. I love it, man. I am picking up and transmitting so far. It's crazy. That mount, that bulletproof diesel third brake mount, it's expensive, but man, is it grounded. I'm talking like to Louisville. I talked to down. I was in Elizabethtown talking to Glasgow, which I never was able to do before. I was
Really?
talking to Columbia from Shepherdsville. I mean, and we've got a new repeater over here in Buffalo, 3 miles from the house. They put it in. It's an old repeater, but they upgraded it and got it set up for digital. So it's got a digipeater. So we got APRS and it's got uh, uh, Wires X on it. So it's NM4P has set his Wires up X up on it, and so it's linked to Columbia. So I can talk pretty much the whole center of the state around here on digital with Wires X and stuff. So we're going to need to start having a weekly net or something for that fusion over there. And I can. We were supposed to be getting a D star put up in Glasgow repeater, so that would be cool. And,
So the ICOM will be D Star, right?
high common D star. There's a lot of D star too. So, I mean, you can cross mode from D star to fusion with your hotspot,
Hmm.
and you can cross mode from fusion, I think, to DMR. They're working on all the hotspots. They're getting where you can cross mode, so you can go from DMR to D star or D star DMR. You might have to change your volume a little bit, but we're geeking out on the ham stuff. People didn't roll their eyes back and fell asleep. So let's roll along. If you guys want, we need to have our own like ham, our own little ham show, I guess. Every once in a while, catch up the ham guys. So we got quite a few people are hams in the audience now. So that's why we talk about it a little bit. Apologize to you guys that aren't as
Don't.
cool as us geeky old ham guys. EDC check. I am carrying the Shadow Systems XR920. It's got the Crimson Trace red dot. It needs a good cleaning. It's got a little bit of dust on it. Surefire XC1 light, and that is the way it comes with that cool bronze barrel. It's sort of a twisted, fluted barrel, and it comes with the night vision sights, as we were talking about earlier, that you can find over on what are we talking about? On
Primary Arms.
Primary Arms, yeah. I'm
Yeah,
telling you,
yeah.
man, I'm dragging tonight. Uh, so crazy thing happened to me today. I had to go to Louisville to talk to lawyers and accountants and tigers on my, and I got to the building. Of course, it's downtown Louisville, not too far from like it's right across the street from one of the federal buildings, and then right across the street from the Louisville Police Department. And I'm coming down the street, and the whole street's blocked off with bomb squad, police cars, EMS type all vehicles all over the place. Apparently, the building that I was meeting in today, there was some bombs outside on the street, but they weren't real bombs. But they had pipes on them. They said bomb one and bomb two, and people were freaked out and called in the bomb squad. And they
Huh.
evacuated the whole area, the building that my lawyer was in, and the building that the other lawyer that was supposed to meet with was in. And so everything that was supposed to happen today didn't happen because of a bomb threat. So I drove all the way to Louisville and got there, and I did go in and I did meet with my lawyer. He was like the only person in the building. Um, they had just given the all clear for everybody to go back in, and so I went and met with him, and we talked over stuff that needed to be talked about, and then I talked to my accountant, and then drove all the way back home. And so I got to do it all over again Monday. So, so we didn't get
Nice.
anything accomplished today, other than he got to bill me for about 2 hours of talking, which is not cheap. And then that was sort of fun. Not what are you packing today?
Oh, I got the Sig P365.
Yeah,
It does not have the student of the gun sights on it, but it does have night sights on it. So um, I've been toting that around. I like it. I like it a lot. It's nice. It's a nice pocket get off me gun.
I had to go a couple places this week where I couldn't really carry on my belt because of my dress. It was more I had to wear business dress that doesn't allow me to cover up that the XR920 as well because it was sort of a tight fitting shirt. So I used the pocket holster, Alabama pocket holster with Springfield XDS. So
Hmm.
it's nice to have a pocket gun. So if you have to dress down, I've had it a couple times for some church stuff. I've had to just carry pocket guns because I've been wearing more form fitting clothes since I'm getting more svelte, and I'm being facetious. Don't don't hate me.
Hey,
Don't.
I do remember. I do know one thing that I did last week that I wanted to mention, and it almost slipped my mind. I got a message from one of our listeners, Brian Hanson. He had hit me up the other day. His family and him were in Georgia on vacation over on the coast, and they were coming back through Macon on their way back home. And he hit me up and wanted to know if we could meet and grab a bite to eat and and just talk for a bit? And I was like, absolutely. So I was able to meet him, and we sat around and talked for a while, and it was nice being able to meet him finally. He listens to the show, and he jumps on a lot and chats with us when we're online doing stuff. So Brian, it was great to meet you. And if you come through Georgia, if you go to Florida or places like that, you pretty much go right by my house if you come down 75. So if you're ever down this way and you want to meet, just holler at me on Messenger or something, and we can make it happen.
Don't let him fool you, people. He don't live right on the road at all. You gotta know where you're going to find out.
Yeah, it's like 6 miles.
Yeah, yeah,
Not
yeah. I
far.
guess as the crow flies, I'm about 8 miles from I-65, but you wouldn't be able to
As a
find it.
crow flies.
Yeah, but as you have to drive the cow tracks through there, it's about 18 miles.
I was fixing to say, as the cow walked,
Yeah,
it's a lot further than that.
it's a long ways. Oh man, what we got next? I lost my track. I lost my page here.
I got a
We,
joke for you,
you do have a joke. Cool.
and I don't think we've told this one. So maybe
I'll
who
be the
knows?
judge of that.
You be the judge of that. So a Russian and American were having a hot debate about who was the first on the moon. The Russian says, "You know this, Mister American. We were the first ones in outer space." The American says, "No way, buddy. It was us. We were first. America, baby." A blonde lady comes up and says to both of them, "That's nothing. We're going to be the first ones on the sun." The Russian and American look at each other and bust out laughing and tell her, "Sorry, but you can't go to the sun. You'll burn up and die." The blonde goes, "Oh my gosh, do you think we're stupid? We plan on traveling at night."
Okie dokie.
I told you hadn't heard it.
I have not heard that one. I don't
Hey,
think.
lame jokes, brother. We advertise
Yeah,
them and we come through.
we don't fail
We do not.
on lameness. Oh man, I have again lost my place. I need another screen. I need one that's about 7 feet wide, and I can put all my windows on it and see it. And y'all think I'm Hillary Clinton. What happened this day on history?
Hey, on this day in history, on 1877, American inventor Thomas Edison made perhaps the most original discovery, the phonograph. And his early recordings were indentations embossed on a sheet of tinfoil by a vibrating stylus.
Interesting.
He made a lot of stuff.
He sure did. Or he claimed to have made a lot of stuff to other people that work for him, and then he was the quickest one to the patent office.
He got credit for them.
Yep, yep. But he was always trying to find some new innovation, as for sure. I wish him and Tesla could work better together. We might have saw some more improvements faster.
Hey, so I have a story for you. A friend of mine said a friend of his had bought his daughter some kind of electric car. It was an older one, but he bought her one for her 16th birthday. And she was driving it and it just quit running. They had it towed to the car dealership. And I think he said he paid like $11,000 for it from whoever he bought it from.
Uh huh.
Took it to the car dealership and they told him, "Oh, your batteries are shot. You need new batteries." He's like, "Okay, how much?" He's like, $14,000.
Oh, yeah. To
Hmm.
burn to burn coal of all things.
Right?
If you got a new one, you got the money for it. Good for you. I'm just not an early adopter of that kind of stuff. I just don't. I can see needing to get somewhere and the battery. When you go to get your radio and you pick it up and it's dead. You're like, man, I thought I put down the charger. Think about that with a car. That's You go, you push your remote, and your remote's not working, and you start looking for batteries. Every time that you have an electrical device and it doesn't work, and you need to go get new batteries for it, or the battery's dead, you got to charge it up before you can use it, like your phone. Just think about your transportation. I
Hey,
don't know.
can you jump? Can you jump start an electric car?
I don't know. I don't think so.
Things that
If
make you.
they had batteries, you could like slide out of them and slide a new one in, and I always got one topped off. That might work. Where you just like you have interchangeable batteries, you just pull up and it drops out of the compartment into the charger. You pick up another one, and then off you go again. They were all the
Right.
same kind of setup. That might work, but logistics of that would be crazy.
They
But
can keep it.
yeah, they used to have electric cars back in late 1800s and early 1900s. They had a cable went up and touched a hot wire up there, and cable cars they used to call them. They had the ones that ran on electric, and they had the ones that hooked into the little chain that drug around the streets. But you can only go where there was electricity at. Yeah, like DeWalt tools, Steve. Yeah, yeah. Well, let's see. I had some Bible verses here. I'm going to hit you with a couple of different ones here tonight. We are going to first read 2 Peter 2:9. They promise them freedom, but they themselves are slaves of corruption. For whatever comes a person, to that he is enslaved. Uh, the older I get, the more I see slavery everywhere. People who are slaves to their job, slaves to the government, slaves to whoever feeds their appetites, whatever sin they have, they're a slave to that. UK basketball. Oh, stepping on holy ground now.
Easy.
Easy. Pick your sports team. I've seen people break out into fights over college basketball for a team they never for a college they never attended and get totally lost because they're a slave to. No, I was like, whatever it is that you put before God, whatever it is that is what feeds you, Facebook likes, as Doug and I have, those things can become your slave masters if you're all the time trying to get your glory and appreciation from social media. You'll find trying to cater to whoever gets the most likes, right? Uh, as you well know, we don't do that because we're all the time banned, shadow
We don't
banned,
do it. We
our
don't get many
posts are
likes.
pulled down. Well, maybe we would get likes, but they can't see our stuff because
We used to get them.
yeah, we used to get them, but then communism, so. But what was the other one I was going to read to you here? Proverbs 11:14 through 23. Where there is no guidance, a people falls, but in abundance of counselors there is safety. Whoever puts up security for a stranger will surely suffer harm. But he who hates striking hands and a pledge is secure. A gracious woman gets honor, and a violent man gets riches. A man who is kind, a man who is kind benefits himself, but a cruel man hurts himself. The wicked earns deceptive wages, but the one who sows righteousness gets a sure reward. Solomon, in all his wisdom, ended up dying uh, just like his fathers, separated from God. And why was that? Is all that wisdom, what happened? He married about 100 women, I think. Probably was, and he brought their idols into the country and let them set up their shrines. And in the end, was no better than any of the rest of them. Wisdom that is not applied is not very good wisdom. But why did I talk about wisdom and corruption, tyranny? Well, I mean, you turn on the TV. Well, I don't turn on the TV. I actually like read it on. uh, Epic Times or see it on some social media, you can see with what's going on in our country that lawlessness seems to be the norm.
Hmm.
You see, one thing about Trump is he drove them nuts and they came out from behind their mask and they have stepped beyond the wall. They have come into the light and exposed themselves as the little demons that they are to try to set him up to lie. I'm not praising Trump. I mean, he's better than anything we've had in a while, but he wasn't perfect. And whether he's a believer or not, I don't know. But we are seeing people grow, our hearts grow colder and colder, right? We're seeing lawlessness rewarded openly in public. We see insider trading not being handled, but we see President Trump's house being raided and looking for things to try to get on him so he can't run again. And I don't make this political, but in every aspect, you have seen here recently where the um, courts have ruled that we have rights and our rights are unalienable. But the then the Congress goes out and writes unconstitutional laws as soon as they do it. The state of New York writes more laws that are already unconstitutional as soon as before the ink dries, they're already unconstitutional. And so we have people wanting to enslave us. They're wanting to become tyrannical, or they already are tyrannical. We are seeing that the people who are considered patriotic Americans are enemies of the government now. Um, and you're seeing the borders wide open and left open to allow anybody that wants to come into our country come in the country. So, as believers, how do we respond to this? Doug, what do you think? How do we respond to when we have a government who is obviously operating in opposition to the powers that they were given to do? I mean, the Congress was supposed to be to pass good laws and to provide financing for wars and to print currency and to leave us alone as far as our constitutional rights. But what we see is that they're trying to negotiate with Iran, who is building nuclear weapons. Already know that they're doing that. We see them taking away things that were helping America and is now going to be benefiting China. We see them taking our strategic oil reserves, which, that's in case of a war. We need to have fuel to be able to put in those planes and tanks and weapons of war. That's for, to be able to keep our infrastructure going, and they're selling it to China. Um, we see,
Why would we do that?
yeah, we see the president and his son receiving kickbacks and money from foreign countries, which they take money over there, launder it, and then bring it back. I mean, I think that's corruption,
Well,
amongst a
I
lot of other
mean,
things.
the
Uh,
Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi, just went to Taiwan,
yeah.
and she took her son with her, who's
Mhm.
on a board in China as well. So
Imagine that.
imagine that.
Imagine that. It's sort
She's
of like the analogy I sort of think of. It's like the gangsters moved into the political houses, and we're being run by a bunch of corrupt criminal gangsters. And I'm not talking about just Democrats.
no, no.
Yo, Mitch McConnell and his wife is from some kind of Asian descent. Uh, but there's a lot of things going on that if people open their eyes up and take down their political barriers, but again, as Christians, we can talk about Lindsey Graham as well, your neighbor to the east there. Um, what, as believers, what does God call us to? Well, the thing that comes to my mind is the Sadducees and the Pharisees. The Pharisees were trying to trap Jesus and said, uh, well, should we pay taxes, and should we honor honor these Romans by paying them their taxes? And Jesus says, "Oh, hand me a denarii, wherever the coin." And he said, "Whose image is on there?" And they said, "Well, Caesar." He said, "Render unto Caesar what is Caesar's, and render unto God what is God's." So, as a believer, we need to know where the delineation is between what government has and is in charge of and what is God's. And so, as for me and my house, to quote another Bible verse, we will honor God when it comes to things of God, when it comes to things of morality, when it comes to life, defending life, innocent life, old life, all life. I'm all for defending life, and so you have to sit down. What does the scripture say? We're to defend the weak. We're to help the poor. We're to do acts of charity. We're to honor the law so that we won't have trouble with the government. And we have to recognize that the government was established by God. We see in Romans 13 and the fact that there is a role for government. America is unique. So if you're not living in America, America is unique in that the highest power in the country is we the people. We are supposed to be the highest power because all things not conveyed, all power is not conveyed to the Congress, to the federal government, are retained by the states and the people. All things at the state level, not covered by the federal or state, is retained by the people. So our right to life, liberty, pursuit of happiness, those things are ours. And whenever the Constitution says anything that is repugnant to the Constitution is null and void, that was a finding early on in our history, the Supreme Court, that the things that they are passing, which are in violation of the Constitution, where they're stepping outside of their role, we have the right to ignore that. Now, that will cost us standing against a tyrannical government, from them seeking more and more power. It could cost us. It could cost us our homes, our lives, our fortunes, right, or whatever we own. Apparently, the government now feels it has the need to hire how many 87,000 new
87,000.
IRS agents to comb through our records to try to fleece us down for more money. And I could get it all into about the income tax is not supposed to be on the individual. Income tax was on corporations. It wasn't supposed to apply to people. We don't have income. We have wages. We earn wages for our labor. Wages weren't supposed to be under the 1913. But that's a whole nother minute. We don't have time for history. But I have a friend who was a doctor who stood on that ground that he shouldn't have to pay taxes, income taxes, because he didn't have income. Income is part of he had wages for his duties for the things he did. He earned a wage, and wages weren't supposed to originally be done. Now they've since changed the wording in the tax documents to say wages, but originally when it was passed, it wasn't supposed to be wages. It's supposed to be income. It was supposed to be taxing just that top 3% of the rich people. Back in 1913, who could imagine that 3%ers were back there in 1913? The ultra wealthy. That was what it was passed for, to tax those 20 ultra millionaire guys. Well, of course, they changed their. They didn't receive wages or income. They received dividends, distributions.
Hmm.
Uh, Businessmen and women hire lawyers, and those people know how to move income around so that they're not paying outrageous amounts of taxes. Bully for them, because if they're wise enough to avoid having to pay a bunch of money for things where you're sending billions of dollars to Ukraine so the Democrats can get money back. Oh, I'm sorry, did I say that out loud? I'm sure this will be a banned video, as like many others.
Like
We'll
our
probably
last one.
it might be the last one we get. But we'll still be on Rumble. So if you guys haven't went to Rumble yet, you might go over and find us because we may not be on YouTube or Facebook much longer. But seriously, uh, are we to have armed rebellion? Well, our founders have the Second Amendment in there for tyrannical government. I mean, it was talked about. It was there to defend we the people from a government who's raised their own army of IRS agents. I mean, of whoever it is that they want to call themselves, Homeland Security, or or FBI, whatever all these different organizations who seem to have put American citizens in the crosshairs of their angst and vitriol, as it seems more and more. Would that be decline? Would that be domestic enemies?
Could be.
Because it'd be domestic enemies of the people. It's not domestic enemies of the government. Because apparently all of us good tax-paying, law-abiding people in America are enemies of the FBI and the and Homeland Security. IRS agents, the new applications where you have to be willing to shoot American citizens to take their money. So if you're going to sign up for one of these jobs, you're gonna be willing to kill me and Doug and whoever else is not wanting to be done that way. I'm speaking for myself. I ain't speaking for Doug. Doug, you speak for yourself.
Oh
I'm
no.
just saying that we seem to be getting to the point where the government has decided that we the people are the blockade to them having total ownership of us as chattel. Does that make sense? We're
Yeah.
not free citizens anymore. We don't have inalienable rights. Apparently, we don't have the right to speak, according to social media. According to you come to a school board meeting and you don't like the way your school's being ran, the FBI is going to come check you out.
You're
Department of
you're a terrorist.
you don't like the way your children being things just being taught in your classrooms about vulgarity and disgusting, deviant behaviors. Then apparently something you're an enemy of the bureaucracy.
I don't mind a lot of things if they keep it a, a level playing field for everyone. But they don't. That's not the way it's work. That's not the
Hmm.
way it works. If you have a law on the books, then that law should apply to everyone. But unfortunately, it seems like if you're a liberal, it doesn't apply to you. It only applies to conservative people when they need it to.
Yeah.
That's just like the raid on on Trump's home the other day.
Hmm.
That was ridiculous that they did that. They went in there with a purpose. They're looking for stuff. The January 6th committee is putting all that nonsense together. They're just looking for a fact finding thing because he was cooperating. FBI was there in June,
Hmm.
saw the documents that he had there at Mar-a-Lago, and they didn't say anything about it. They said it was okay. He just needed to put another lock on the door to secure where it was stored,
Hmm.
and that was it. And then I heard that part of the warrant or part of whatever he's being charged with, whatever it is obstructing justice because he had it locked behind a door
Uh, where it was supposed to be, because
where they told him to put it
mhm,
and double lock it,
yeah,
and that was messed up.
they brought in lock pickers or something, didn't they? They
Yeah,
brought in people to pick locks and stuff.
they had a guy come in that broke into his safe,
Hmm.
broke into that.
Yeah.
So think about that for a minute, people. If they do that to a former president of the United States because his political views is different than the ones that they have, what do you think they will do to regular citizens like us that speak out against them?
Oh, they're already doing it.
They
I mean,
are.
you got or thousands of people are sitting in prison still because they were silly enough to follow in some people into the certain building and they shouldn't have. Uh, but I don't know that they did anything other than trespass in the people's house. I
Right.
mean, isn't that what's called? The House of Representatives, the people's house. So if you
Is it
ever go,
really is it really trespassing, Troy, if they let you in?
well, if they would let the all the tapes out, but I I just think God was telling me when I was happened to be in that same town that day, you don't need to go anywhere down there. You need to go
Hmm.
ahead and get out of town. And I'm like, as soon as the speech is over with, I got on the train and headed west. I I was like, no, this ain't going well because I already knew that they were trying to do a false flag, and now they're like, I don't need to be anywhere near that mess. And Holy
And
Spirit
yet
told me right. I got out of there.
and yet you were not there, and yet you still had a department with 3 letters show up
Yeah.
at your house to
Yep.
question you.
Hmm. Yeah, that was. I'm sure one of our listeners tipped him off. Well, somebody said, "Oh yeah, you was there. You." I was in Washington. I was not there. I was at the speech a couple miles away. But here nor there. Um, but what we got going on now is obvious intimidation. So if they can make us afraid, then they can control you. And it has a biblical or it has a spiritual component to it. The devil wants to try to keep you afraid. The devil wants to try to make you think that you won't have enough, that you're lacking something, that you're not complete, that God can't forgive you of your sin, that you can never be good enough, that uh, you're not worthy. Uh, the devil always is trying to steal, kill, and destroy. And you can see the same patterns by the people who are doing these things. It's all bully, intimidation, trying to undermine your resolve. But if you think about the world in a terrestrial mindset instead of a everlasting or a eternal, because we're eternal beings, our physical bodies are wasting away, right? We're dead men walking. I mean, our bodies are going to give up, and we're going to be in glory in heaven with God. Are we going to be cowards here on this terrestrial plane, where our bodies are essentially going to die anyway? Or are we going to stand against evil people, against corruption? Are we going to be vocal about it? Or are we going to be afraid of them? Are we going to cower to them? Because all they can do is kill us. In the end, if we're saved, all they can do is take away our physical body, but we are our rewards of heaven, right? And it goes back to the same mindset. Are we going to stand in the gap? Are we going to call to those who are lost and are dying without hope? They're going to eternal, everlasting punishment. Are we going to share the good news that although we are wicked, evil, disgusting, vile creatures, are prone to turn our backs on God and seek our own way and lust after our own things, uh, but God loved us so much that He sent His Son to be that propitiation, to be that payment for our sin. He loved us so much. He wants us to have a relationship with Him. We can't do it on our own. We can't do it through our good works. We can't do it by anything that we are able to produce. Everything that the best that we can make, the best that we can do, we can be Mother Teresa level, off the charts, giving, loving, kind. That doesn't get you to heaven. Your good works, your donations to the church, your walking grannies across the street, you giving Girl Scout money for cookies. None of that stuff's gonna get you to heaven.
Nope.
Heaven is a gift of God by his sacrifice of his son on the cross to pay that penalty. And it's a free gift. And all you have to do is accept it. And then you put your faith on Christ alone for your salvation. So no matter how bad you've been or how of a messed up Christian you are, your faith again is in Christ, not in your works. It's in his work on the cross to pay that sin debt. And that's the good news. And so once you have attained your faith in Christ alone as your salvation, anything here on this planet is temporal. Your reward is in heaven, not here on this existence. So
Yes,
no
sir.
matter what they do to you, as a believer, what it comes down to is that you have to be willing to profess Christ as Lord and Savior. You have to be willing to stand on faith and share the good news and to provide for the needs of women and children, widows and children and people in need. You're to do the things that God called us to, that we're to love God with all our heart, soul, mind, and love others as we love ourselves, the two highest commandments. And so if the government doesn't impose on those things, we're good. Everything else, according to God, everything else goes to Caesar. But we can stand in the areas where God has called us to, defending life, like an abortion or in euthanasia or any of these things where people are being killed, uh, unjust wars. I think we should stand against unjust wars, wars of maybe people making money. Ukraine, I mean, there's these situations we're going to have to be wise as serpents and innocent as doves, as we're called to be. We have to engage and use our brains and say, is what I'm doing for the betterment of the kingdom, for the betterment of the global church, for the spreading the gospel, or am I contributing to the devil's dealings and things like that? So it's a hard road, people. I mean, it's not something you can just say, well, I voted for so and so, so I'm good. No, you need, because just because they proclaim to be that kind of person, like Mitch McConnell, or other rhinos or other people, they say things with their lips, but they don't do that with their actions. They don't do those things. They don't honor their words. They turn around and stab you in the back for profit or for their own purposes. Um, and so you have to hold people accountable. You should be willing to speak out. Now, if you're afraid and you think that you're going to lose your check or whatever it is that you're depending on, um, you have to decide: am I going to honor God as the apostles were called to? Are they going to honor God or are they going to honor men? Because if you're going to honor men, mm, you're on sinking sand, boys.
Hmm.
Put your faith on the rock. Stand on Jesus' promises and be willing to take the licks. Be willing to take the harsh treatment. Be willing to be banned from Facebook or YouTube. Be willing to be shunned at family events.
Yeah, we must be doing something right because we stay banned on a lot of things.
Yeah, they've just honed in on me more and more recently. I pretty much deleted all. I've deleted Facebook off my phone. Only time I check is just pretty much for this stuff. When I'm checking on stuff on Guy Guns, surprisingly, it's still here. But no depression here, guys, because we have a hope that is beyond Trump. There's beyond the United States government, beyond the Second Amendment. We have a hope that is eternal. It lasts forever, never ends, and only gets better.
You know what
So
I you know what I like is Tuesday is going to be a primary election in Wyoming, and Liz Cheney, I hope, gets voted out.
she's got a lot of She don't look nervous enough to me. I'm wondering if there's a whole lot of sorry for you people that moved into Montana from California and the left coast, but you're running the state. I'll just say that you're putting in people that are going to create the same garbage you fleed from. So wake up. But I hope that the polls are correct and she's down by like 30 points or more. But
God,
we'll see. We'll see
I
if they
saw,
still. Did you
I
see
saw.
what happened? Was it Michigan or Wisconsin where the polling didn't at all jive with the results?
Oh, imagine that. They post the
Yeah.
polls. They can make it say whatever they want, make you think, oh, it's over. They're not going to win.
No, I
And then,
mean people won that were not supposed to be winning that had the demon. I mean the D behind their name, um, and they weren't supposed to.
I know two Republicans got beat in their primaries that voted to impeach Trump.
Yeah.
They got beat in their elections the other day. Good on them.
Yeah. Yeah.
You
Well,
live in
we
one of the states. Good job.
boy, we're done running over an hour. Me rambling and babbling on. So, well, thank Primary Arms again for sponsoring the show. And if you guys need any kind of cool sporting goods, hunting gear, shooting accessories, optics, gun accoutrements, go over to primaryarms.com and give them some love. You can also help out by buying some patches and stickers that look like these things that me and Doug got. What is that? What's something up there? Wrinkle. Uh, Behind us here. You can get some of them. I got a few of those left, and I am going to have to sit down and order some more stuff because I've about sold out everything. And you can go to Subscribestar. We've got a Subscribestar account at subscribestar.com/god dash and dash guns. And you got the last two. Then we got a Armed Citizen of the Week.
Hey, PowerTech lights. You've heard us talk about it. They have awesome lights and they are good. And actually, I gotta let you guys know. I actually went out to order a new light today. Did order a new light today. Use our promo code, and the discount did not come up the way I thought it should have come up. So I got to ciphering, and I called PowerTech. I'm like, hey, what gives? So we were supposed to get we had been getting a 40% discount,
Mm-hmm.
and they pretty much told me real quick. They're like, man, we hate to do it, but our profit margins are suffering right now
Mm.
because everything is up. So he said it's not just you guys. He said we had to do it to everybody. So now you get a 30% discount instead of a 40%, which was still significant. I'll take
Yeah.
30% off. All you got to do is use the promo code God and Guns, and they will give you 30% off now instead of 40. Hopefully, when the Build Back Better inflation spending bill kicks in and everything gets better the way it's supposed to, it'll go back to normal. But don't count on it because it ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
Also, crossbreed holsters. Hey, if you're carrying a gun on your person, in your vehicle, got one next to your bed, or your wife's got one in her purse, Crossbreed makes a holster for you. Go check our buddies out at crossbreedholsters.com. Use the promo code G&G over there when you find one, and they will give you a 10% discount. And as far as I know, it's still a 10% discount and the most comfortable holsters you can get. So go check our buddies out, crossbreedholsters.com.
They've been running some specials, so you probably can get more off if you on their newsletter or their if you subscribe to their whatever it is their feed thing. I think they had like a 25 or 30% off sale this last weekend or something. This
Oh,
last week.
nice.
So yep. And I'm waiting on Nathan. He's supposed to be getting me a new holster for my shadow systems. They were waiting on Blue Gun to come in to set it up. So I'm going to have to remind Nathan. So Carol, if you're listening, remind Nathan, please.
And, and remind Nathan, he's supposed to be shooting me a mini tuck for my 365.
Ooh, I love the mini tuck, man. If you guys got a small gun like that gun Doug's there, or XDS, or something thin 9 millimeter, that mini tuck is the shebang, man. It is so small and concealable. It is very very nice. I like it, even better than the Super Tuck. But the Super Tuck is what you need for full size guns.
For a
But
big gun.
yeah,
Yep.
but man, that mini tuck, it is sweet. I really like it, and I need a new belt because I'm at the last notch, and he said not to drill any holes. He was going to send me a belt, so I'm waiting, Nathan. I'm waiting. Our citizen of the week. What we got?
Our citizen of the week this week comes to us from Lauderhill, Florida. Man reacted in self-defense when an alleged intruder forced his way into a residence May 15th of 2022. Around 11 p.m. that Sunday evening, two residents were inside the home when an intruder climbed through a window. The stranger then produced a firearm, spurring one of the residents to dial 911 before quickly hanging up. The resident also managed to arm himself and exchange gunfire with the would-be robber inside the home. During the exchange, the resident managed to strike the intruder with his fire. When authorities arrived late, when the authorities arrived later on to check up on the emergency dialing of the nine from the 911 emergency dialing from the home, they found the armed intruder deceased from his wounds. And that's from NBCMiami.com, Miami, Florida. Hey, we had one here, um, close to here. Um, two drug dealers out on the street doing their thing. A guy decides he's going to rob the drug dealers. Well, it didn't go down the way he thought, so they were chasing him. So the guy runs over to a guy's house and starts banging on the door to get him to let him in because the drug dealers are trying to get him now. So he would not open the door. The guy shot the door and got the door open. And as soon as he walked in the door, the man that lived in the home popped him and killed him. So it's either homeowner when you're breaking in going to shoot you, or the drug dealers are going to shoot you. He was fixing to get popped either way, I would imagine.
Well, there's a Bible verse: "Those who live by the sword die by the sword."
Die by the sword. That's right.
If you're gonna run around trying to take things from people with a gun, then you're probably gonna end up getting shot
Hmm. By somebody.
by somebody. Crime pays. This doesn't always pay well. It,
Exactly.
it might pay in lead.
Hey,
So
that's just like, what was it? Is it New York the other day? The what 70 some year old man working in the store.
oh yeah,
The four thugs run in. One of them had an AR,
something
and they're
looked like it
pointing
there.
at going to rob him.
Hmm.
Some type of an AR. Going to rob him, and he blasts him with a shotgun.
Hmm.
I was like, if more people did that, less people would try it.
Yeah, I mean, they probably thought they was perfectly fine in New York to rob a store with a gun and not
Hmm.
think they're gonna get any kind of blowback. And that was a Biden special, wasn't it? A double
It
barrel
was old double barrel
shotgun.
shotgun. Just fired two blasts off your porch.
Yeah, shoot out the door. No, I don't think you can do that. I think that's bad advice. But uh, I'd rather have a shotgun than no gun. But yeah, I mean, so philosophy of use for home protection. Yes, if you don't have any children or other people in your house, and you know uh, which when you're shooting, and it's going to be okay if it goes through couple walls, because double up buck will go through walls just like pistol rounds will go through drywall
Hmm.
and keep going, or your rifle rounds like your AR-15, they will spin off and spall and not over penetrate most of the time if you're shooting through drywall and things like that, because the velocity, it will cause those things to lose their power, especially if you're shooting hollow points, things that will open up and expand upon hitting something like that. uh, So instead of a shotgun, because I have children in the same level of the house with me, I choose an AR. Uh, so I have 28 rounds, a light, and I know exactly where I can shoot and where I can't shoot with my children in the house. And You need to talk about your children, talk with your children, and say, "Hey, you hear somebody banging and crashing and guns going off? Get on the floor,
Hit the floor.
hit the floor, get as low as you can, and get in your closet or wherever it is that's a safe place, as many walls as you can get between them and the entrance of the house or the most likely entrance, and rehearse that with them and say, hey, you hear this? Hit the floor, grab your gun, and be ready. And then you make sure you tell your children you're coming into their room if they're armed
Right.
and they know it's you, and you might have a code word. If you say a certain word and it's not the right word, then they know somebody's behind you. Think about it, man. You gotta be thinking about those kind of things. Uh, you should have a key to your door uh, in your bedroom, and you should have it tied to something where you can. If you call the police, you say, "Hey, we're all back in the bedroom. I tossed a key out the window on the southwest corner, northwest corner, whatever. We're going to be in this room. Anybody else in the house is you free to shoot." So think about those kind of things. If you
Feel
got,
free.
feel free to shoot anything that's not in these rooms, and we'll be back in here waiting for you.
Hey,
Uh
one of my bedside guns, the one that I would grab first,
huh.
is a 45 with frangible ammo in it.
Hmm.
So if there are people in the house, it's not going to blow through walls
Right.
like a regular round would.
Yeah. My bedside pistol is the 10 millimeter with the frangible rounds. The first five are frangible. After that, they're the real deal.
They're not
Because,
playing after that.
but in the wintertime, I don't run. I don't have frangible because if they come in with a heavy coat on, it might not penetrate big, thick, heavy jacket enough to do deadly harm.
Penetrate
So
their forehead though.
yeah, well, if you can shoot that good in the night, 2 or 3 in the morning when you're bleary eyed and walking around in your underwear, bully for you. I plan on putting lots of rounds in the general vicinity as best I can aim with my bleary eyes. But yeah, we rambled on. People didn't go to bed on us. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. If you have not yet, thumbs up and share, like, send snide remarks, whatever, anything that gets us up in the polls. We're all for it because they're going to take us down anyway. All right,
Right.
so we're going to wrap this puppy up. Send your feedback to Troy at GuyGunsPodcast.com or
Doug at GotGunsPodcast.com.
please tell your friends about us. Leave us an iTunes review. Like us on Facebook at Facebook.com/GuyGunsPodcast. You can subscribe and follow us on YouTube for now. And you can find us over on Instagram for now. And we have a webcam page. I haven't put anything over there for at least 6 months. We have Rumble, and we're live on Rumble. Please go over and get on Rumble because you never know. We may not be here. And, I think it's still free, but get over there and get you a Rumble account. We are MeWe, and I really don't know a whole lot over there as well. I'm sorry about that, but we have a website that is in need of repair and work. If you are a person who likes to develop and build websites and are good at that kind of thing, Doug and I could use your assistance because I'm
Yes.
getting crotchety and I just am not that good at it and it needs some work and I just don't have the time, honestly, to put into it. I apologize. I would like it to be up and running and put a store on there and all that kind of stuff. I just don't. I am spent running every which direction. But until next time, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bibles closer.
Good night,
Have a good
everybody.
night.
Thanks for joining us. And we're out of here.